Hi, this presentation is brought to you by Kara Hagerman, a graduate student at George Mason University. Thank you for listening. So in this research question that I have figured out a problem in the classroom with, the question is, what types of learning activities yields to the highest on-task engagement of autistic children? This problem that I've seen in my classroom as I have autism disorder syndrome students push into my classroom is I feel that's a lot of lack of engagement with them in our general education classrooms. There's ways we try to incorporate them into the grouping. We try to incorporate them into assignments using different technology ways, hands-on activities. So I'm really focusing my research on trying to find multiple ways to assist them with their learning activities as they push into the classroom. So engaging activities that I'm thinking of, how do we create engaging activities? So a lot of times for learning activities and for students with autism is just multiple ways of trying to figure out what works with them, what keeps them engaged, what keeps them on task. So I have tried to research, and I would like to research some mobile applications. Will mobile applications, online applications work for them? Does it keep them engaged? Is it just more of a game for them to play? Are they going to actually learn from the different learning activities or mobile learning applications that they will have access to? Another one, online learning programs. Along with that, that's using our learning management systems that our schools have for them to be going on and finding different programs that are there that are offered by teachers that might assign assignments to them in that particular LMS, or ways that they can go into and find different programs to click onto to just investigate and explore. And the third way that I think is very beneficial, and I'm looking into researching, is small group work. When we incorporate our students with autism into the small group, trying to have them listen to other people communicate, trying to copy or be good models of communicating for them to be able to talk back if they're not nonverbal. So those are the engaging activities that I'm focusing on. And as we get ready to work on those, how will I find those? How will teachers be able to do that? Well, like stated before, you must have a learning management system in your school system, which most schools do, for students to be able to be given directions on how to use them. Lots of modeling is very important on teaching the students with autism how to find the learner's management system in their own laptop, one-on-one with an assistant. So some autistic students, depending on if they're higher functioning students, are they able to do it on their own? Those are the kind of research I'm looking for, and how can I engage them throughout the day when they are pushed in or come into the classroom, the general ed classroom, with an assistant to be focusing on their core content subjects. So the learning management system is very important, along with the mobile apps that are also in through those LMSs, or just simply on an iPad if schools use iPads. Some of the articles I had read of implemented that, and they had iPad implementation in K-12 schools in the state that this research was done. And it stated different ways that different grade levels use them, what was most important, how did it fare out. Even though there's little research done on this, is it engagement, is it assessing the students, and how can they get their learning in? So those are things that I'm trying to look at and implement throughout this with my autism students that are in the general ed classroom setting for a short amount of time throughout the day. And then this is what I have seen and noticed a lot of times. I do have them in small groups. They do push in and come to my small groups with 2 or 3 other students. A lot of times it helps them to gain directions from the general ed students. They guide them, they model for them, they give them directions, and it's very interesting to watch the interactions that our general ed students have with the autism students that push in, just to help them and guide them in their learning, because they want them to have just as much fun learning and listening to stories as they do. As well as sometimes some of my students have to have the noise canceling headphones. So in that sense, it's a little more difficult if you're working on a small group. But I think they're very important tools that they need to have if they are pushing into a larger group setting. So after research is finished, next steps, gathering data. So how will we gather that data? We're going to get that data from the apps that are used. A lot of apps are there that give them data that you can go back in as a teacher to review, see how they're learning, what stage they're at. Is it beneficial? Is it not beneficial? Another way, teacher questionnaires. Offer those Google Forms and teachers in our school district. There are 5 schools, elementary schools. So I'd love to have them try this out with their students as well and see if it's beneficial. As well as assignments that might have been assigned to them through an LMS, or even activities just on paper pencil, because a lot of times paper pencil is just as beneficial as having technology in the classroom for them. And these are just a couple of the resources that I have read and researched in and gotten some information for my goal and my drive for my research in this way. So thank you for listening.